Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Welcome in, everybody, to a little bit of a quick bonus reaction episode of the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Torres. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's having a great day. And my, I hope for the love of God you are not an Ohio State fan. I cannot believe we are doing this in real time. By the way, I do apologize. Our streaming service went down right before we went live, so we had to do it a little bit different, a little bit later on the reaction. But just a stunner of all stunners. Michigan 13, Ohio State 10 for the fourth straight year. Ohio State falls to Michigan, and I'll be transparent. I just frankly do not know, short of a national championship, how Ryan Day can possibly keep his job beyond this season. So let's go ahead, everybody come on in. Everybody dive in. Drop your comments, your thoughts below. But we have what I believe is one of the great shockers that we have ever seen in college football, at least since I've been following it and covering it about the last decade or so, okay? So listen, we're going to go ahead and give Michigan their credit here in a moment, but the story is going to continue to be Ohio State. Ohio State comes, I think we have to understand, it's not just that Ohio State lost to Michigan. It is that Ohio State lost to Michigan after 3 straight losses to Michigan, after Michigan lost its head coach from last year, after they lost 40-plus seniors from last year. And think about everything that Ohio State has done since the last time they played Michigan. We were told that Ryan Day couldn't call plays. He needed to be a CEO head coach. So what do? They spent $2 million on their offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly. They already have a $2 million defensive coordinator in Jim Knowles. And oh, by the way, we know the numbers, a $20 million roster that was put together and retained for this moment. Listen, they talked about it on the broadcast in the game. Jack Sawyer, he is a senior, 4th-year guy. He's lost to Michigan 3 years in a row. He said coming into this game, he's like, look, I'd be lying if I said that this game does not matter to us. It does not mean a lot, and our season won't be a waste if we don't beat Michigan. And so you look at this game, 3 straight losses, $20 million roster, 2 different $2 million coordinators on this team. And oh, by the way, you're also at home. And on top of it, beyond that, you're not only at home, you have those 3 straight years in which to motivate yourself, motivate your team. You've lost for 3 straight years. And let's also call a spade a spade. Michigan fans will tell you this. This is the worst team that Michigan has had in quite some time, at least in this rivalry, probably dating back to what? I mean, if you take out the fact that they didn't play in 2020, this might be the worst Michigan team in 10, 12 years, right? I'm not a Michigan historian, but this team was not good. There's a reason they went out and went after Bryce Underwood. But at the end of the day, this comes down to the fact that one team was mentally tougher, physically tougher, made all the plays late, and did it with less talent, did it on the road, and Michigan goes ahead and wins this game. And I think what you have to be frustrated with if you're an Ohio State fan, it's a few things. 1, you lost to Michigan. 2, it's all the stuff we talked about, $2 million coordinators, $20 million roster. But beyond that, it was both a complete collapse, but also a game that Michigan tried to give you, right? I mean, first of all, you go beyond the fact that it's a 4th straight loss. Just think about the things that Ohio State did to give Michigan this game. Ohio State misses 2 crucial field goals, both in field goal range. What ends up being the difference in the game? Oh, by the way, Michigan makes 2 field goals in crucial spots, in crucial times. The longest one of the game, the longest attempt of the game came from Michigan. Beyond that, there is the fact that, oh, by the way, you have those 2 crushing Will Howard interceptions at the worst possible time. By the way, you have the fact that Davis Ward basically took 7 points off the board with listen, people said it during the broadcast. And by the way, I apologize. I'm just throwing stuff out as it's coming to me. This is a quick, immediate reaction. But Davis Warren took 7 points off the board. He had a wide open guy in the end zone, threw it right into Jack Sawyer's hands. So just think about that. The 2 missed field goals. Michigan makes 2. the two crucial interceptions by Will Howard. And then, oh, by the way, on top of that, you not only have that, Davis Warren basically gives you 7 and you still can't win. And so this loss, first of all, there's the small picture and the big picture. The small picture, this loss falls on 2 men and 2 men only, and everybody knows where the answer is. It's Ryan Day and it's Chip Kelly, okay? And why is that? The answer is pretty simple. It is because for whatever reason, Ryan Day and Chip Kelly decided we have to run the ball to prove something to someone. I don't know what that something to someone is, okay? But go ahead and think about it. This was, listen, coming into the game, we did the preview. When I did the preview on the college football betting pod, I said I picked the under in this game because I said the strength of Michigan's defense is that front seven and specifically the defensive line. Ohio State's weakness is the offensive line, okay? And so I said, listen, I don't think Ohio State's going to be able to run the ball, but they're going to be able to throw the ball. I just can't see the world where Michigan wins this game. And so what ends up happening in this game? Quite literally, and I'm not being facetious when I say this, some of the worst play calling that I have ever seen in college football history, okay? Again, I don't know if it was Ryan Day trying to prove that he's tougher than Michigan. I don't know if Chip Kelly just really loves to run the football, if Chip Kelly felt like he had something to prove. But in this game, they had 26 rush attempts for 77 yards. Counter it with 42 rush attempts for 172 yards for Michigan. You know Michigan can't pass the ball, and they still rushed for more yards on more carries for more yards per carry than you did. And here is the disappointing thing. Will Howard, 19 of 33. I think what has to be the most frustrating part of the Ohio State side for Michigan, for Ohio State fans, is the bottom line that going into halftime, you figured it out. You figured, oh my God, just throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith. Just throw the ball to Emeka Ibuka. Just throw the ball to Carnell Tate, and it'll take care of itself. They have no answers on the outside. Their all-American quarterback is not available, is not playing. Just throw the football, and that's all they did to end the first half. And then what do? Come out early in the second half. What is it? The first series, I think they run back-to-back runs on the opening drive. I'm looking in real time. Again, I apologize, but trying to do this all in real time. But basically, opening drive, you end up having to punt. You have the interception. There's the series after the Davis Warren interception, by the way, where you run 2 plays up the middle, a short pass from Will Howard that's to G. Scott for basically a tackle in the backfield. And that was the story of the game, is that every time you could have exposed them vertically, every time you could have given it to Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, whoever you wanted to, literally anyone other than run the ball up the middle, you decided to run the ball up the middle. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Listen, if you're listening to this, I'm not an Ohio State fan. I'm not a Michigan fan. But when I see disastrous coaching and disastrous play calling, I don't know what else to say other than that was one of the great debacles that I have ever seen, okay? And so at the end of the day, this comes back down to Ryan Day. And I've said this before. Listen, I get a lot of stuff wrong. I get so much stuff wrong. I'm not afraid to admit it. Whatever. I picked South Carolina to lose to Clemson. I get that wrong. Stuff happens. But I have sniffed out this Ryan Day stuff from the beginning. I've always thought he was a phony. I've always thought it's been amazing to me that he has always, I don't want to say gotten the benefit of the doubt because Ohio State football fans are too smart. But every single time they lose, it's always somebody else's fault. Well, we need a new defensive coordinator. Well, we need a new offensive coordinator. Well, we need a new quarterback. Kyle McCord's not getting the job done. Well, it's cheating with Connor Stallions. Connor Stallions is cheating, even though, oh, by the way, Connor Stallions was out 5 weeks before last year's game. And so every year it's a new excuse. It's a new reason. It's a new whatever. This falls on Ryan Day. I don't think he's that good of a coach. I've never thought he was that good of a coach. And here's my simple question for you. How many coaches with a $20 million roster and 2 coordinators that are each making $2+ million a year? By the way, I think technically Jim Knowles is making like 1.9, so forgive me. But 2 quarterbacks with two coordinators with $2+ million a year. How many of those guys, how many people could do the same or worse than Ryan Day with the exact same resources? The answer, there are literally hundreds of coaches that could do the exact. Listen, I'm not rooting for Ryan Day to get fired. What I'm actually rooting for is Ohio State to be the best version of itself. And I'm not talking about the best version because they're spending the most money or they're doing this, they're doing that. I'm talking about in between the white lines on the field. I want to see this team and this program at its peak, because this program at its peak is as good as any in college football. So to see them lose this game, I don't know what else there is to say, man, other than Ryan Day has to go. Listen, I think an interesting kind of Sunday into Monday conversation would be who are the potential candidates at Ohio State if Ryan Day were to be let go. But I said it to lead this show, and I said it to lead this segment. I can't think of anything short of a national championship in which Ryan Day is retained this year. Now, listen, I know there's obviously other examples. What if they win the Big Ten next week against Oregon? And what if they, what if they lose in the national championship game? Like, yes, I think he's coming back. But at the end of the day, what I said this at halftime. I said at halftime, it's 10-10. Ryan Day has a $20 million roster, all the stuff we talked about, $2 million per coordinator. And oh, by the way, this is the worst Michigan team he will ever face. You can make fun of Michigan for paying Bryce Underwood whatever they're paying him, $10+ million a year, the 5-star quarterback from Bellevue, Michigan, okay? But at the same time, the bottom line was Michigan was never that bad this year. They were just so bad at quarterback that it torpedoed their entire season. And so now that's the other part with Ohio State. You can't beat Michigan after 3 straight losses with that motivation at home with the worst roster you're ever going to see. What makes you think that Ryan Day is going to be the answer? So I don't believe he is. I don't believe he's the answer. We're going to have coverage of this all week long because I don't think this is going to slow down. I don't think a win over Oregon next week solves this for Ohio State. I don't think the right thing at a press conference solves it. By the way, I didn't even get to after the game. As I was getting ready to record, of course, my 37 live streams that didn't work. I saw the fight on the field. That's soft, okay? And what that is a team that's mad that they lost to their rivals again. By the way, you know what else? Let me say one more thing. You know what I thought was so soft? Last week, the Will Howard putting out the cigarette because you beat Indiana. It's like, you're Ohio freaking State. Of course you're supposed to beat Indiana. I don't care if they're top 5 or bottom 5 in the country. You're supposed to kick the crap out of Indiana. Don't celebrate. Don't gloat. Get ready for Michigan. So I could go on and on. Congrats to Michigan fans. You deserve this moment because your program, they stuck to who they were. They were tough. They were fearless. They were unafraid. I cannot believe for a 4th straight year, Michigan has beaten Ohio State. Credit to Michigan. We'll have plenty more reaction on Monday's Aaron Torres pod, but we had to get this out in real time. Ohio State losing to Michigan a 4th straight year. Final score 13-10. And we appreciate you guys listening. Speaking of appreciate, before we get out of here, I have to give an absolute shout out to one of our favorite friends, one of our favorite partners, and that's, of course, Collie Puffs and ColliePuffs.com. Okay, so listen, Thanksgiving's done. You're still on the couch. You're still watching a lot of football, but you need something healthy to eat, right? I mean, listen, let's call a spade here. We all ate like slobs over the last couple days. Well, guess what? That's where Collie Puffs comes in, okay? This is the healthy snack alternative to all the crap in your grocery aisle, the Doritos, the Fritos, the whatever. Collie Puffs, baked not fried, avocado oil, no grease, healthy ingredients, family-owned company in California, not far from where I live. Joey is a football fan like you and I, and he just tried to say, one day he just said, I need something healthy for my kids. I need something healthy for myself as I sit on the couch, and he came up with Collie Puffs. So for more information, visit ColliePuffs.com. As I have mentioned before, there is a 25% off sale on Amazon.com. So go to Amazon.com, just search Collie Puffs, put them in your cart, and automatically you get 25% off. No promo code needed, no nothing. You can also learn more at ColliePuffs.com. That is all for that instant reaction. Ryan Day. I feel like Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. Oh, Ryan Day did it again.